How's it going, fellow traders? This is Magic Trader here, and this is the CFTC report that was released January 23rd, 2018, and today is Monday the 29th. So here's a quick snapshot of the positions of the institutions, and so let's take a look at gold. So what do we see with gold? So they increased longs from 301,000 to 305,000, and at the same time they slightly increased short positions from 90 to 91. So nothing big there in terms of the short positions. Longs is what we're concentrating on right now because we are looking for signs that the institutions want to take this a lot higher. As I've said many times, I believe gold is eventually going to come up to here. Excuse me. And so, you know, they filled in a lot of their long orders down here. And ideally, that's what I would want to see, is a drop down to this. Because if price was to get down here, I would be buying gold all day down at these levels. I don't think that's going to happen. It could, but at this point, I don't think it's going to happen. So we have an area here that has some potential to be an area that could be a spot to get in long, but so far I'm not liking this area, I should say, because we're not getting a really nice move away from this area. If we got a really nice push away from this area and then some consolidation away and then a retrace, then I'd be more inclined to get in long here. But so far, from what I see price action this week, it doesn't look like this area is the ideal spot to get in. So I like the fact that we have a slight bullish bias, right? The coloration of the cells is slightly green. It's not as aggressive as this. This is exactly what we'd like to see. We'd like to see this color with a low number. That is the ideal situation. Right now we're at 77%, which is good for taking longs. That's for sure. It's good for taking longs, but I'm not quite sure if this is what I want to be seeing for taking longs right now. So what I'm looking for is a nice drop in price. Hopefully break this area of weekly demand, get a push a little bit lower, and then we'll wait for momentum shifts to happen on the daily chart. And then when I see some new setups to go long, that's when I'll be more inclined to take a position long. Okay. Oil. What do we see with oil? So oil, I see they closed a little bit of their longs and also some of their shorts. So the net effect being long exposure jumps up 1 point, and net positions increases one more time from 707,000 to 716,000 net longs. So that's massive. Again, taking longs from up at these areas is just crazy. It's just we're way too high up, and we got to wait for them to take profits. 86, very bright green. They've been extremely bullish for quite some time. So again, I'm waiting for them to take some profits, wait for price to drop, and then I'll be interested in getting in long. So what do we see the institutions doing with the US dollar? So they closed off some of their longs, dropping from 34,000 to 31,000 positions, and roughly leaving their shorts the same. That happens as we consolidated here and broke through a weekly demand zone. So price eventually dropped a little bit lower, and we are reacting now to a really nice area of weekly demand. So I do believe that price is going to go even lower, and if you look at the coloration of the cells, we're obviously bearish, and we've been bearish for quite some time, right? And if you take a look at the positions, 53% of their overall exposure is geared to the short side, with negative 4.1 thousand positions. I mean, this is just prime and ready for a bigger drop. So again, excuse me, I'm looking for a move upwards and looking for a good area to see momentum shift, possibly at this trend line, momentum shift, and then I'll be looking to get in short. Aussie, So this one, they added in aggressively to their longs, raising long positions from 50,000 to 63,000, and also increasing short positions from 40,000 to 46,000. Okay, the net effect being long exposure jumps up 2 points to 58%, but take a look at the coloration of the cells. We're still somewhat blue, right? We're still somewhat neutral. Neutral, and net positions increased by about 6,000, so we have a positive 16,000 net positions long, but sentiment is neutral. So at these highs, I would just like to see some kind of a pullback to be able to get in somewhere a little bit lower and go long, because I do believe we're going to see price jumping up here to the 86s. Okay, but right now it's just a bad time to go in long. So I'll wait for price to reverse down. I'll look for momentum shifting trades on the daily chart. Once that happens, I'll look to get in on a long position. USDCAD, what do we see? Long positions are neutral, and short positions remain aggressive. Actually, there has even been an increase in shorts from 61,000 to 69,000, and that comes as price was consolidating here on the weekly chart. So we can see that we eventually got to push lower, but we're stalling right before hitting this area of weekly demand. So right now, US dollars hitting weekly demand. This one hasn't even hit weekly demand. You know, when I look at this chart, what I see is that eventually we're going to get a push to the upside like this. That's what I see. I could be wrong, but the fact that this hasn't been moving nearly as much as the US dollar to the downside, I just see that eventually this one's going to explode to the upside. So coloration of the cells is neutral with a slight bearish tone to it. So slight bearish tone is not enough for me to open up any positions, and plus when you look at the charts, there's nothing here to suggest a really good trade to the short side. So I'm not taking any trades to the short side just yet. In fact, what I'm looking for is momentum trades off of this weekly area. So I'm going to wait for this to hit. I'll watch to see what the sentiment is. And if I see any indication that the institutions are starting to get in long, I'm gonna jump on their bandwagon and take this to the upside. Okay, so let's go to US dollar Swiss franc. We see longs increase by about 1,000. Shorts remain roughly the same. Net positions, net longs increased by 1 point to 72%. Net positions is positive 22,000. So again, we're hitting weekly demand. It's been previously tested in the back here, but should still hold. We should see a move to the upside. With this one, we have, the force of price is obviously to the downside, and we're hitting this weekly area of demand. I still think we're going to see a push lower, but I think we're going to see a move to the upside short term before that push lower comes into play. All right, euro. So they're still bullish. 69% of their overall exposure is geared to the long side. We see an increase in longs from 254 to 262,000. Shorts also increased by about 3,000, and that happens as we were consolidating here on the weekly chart. So we can see that price eventually went a little bit higher up. Net positions increased as well from 139,000 to a positive 144,000. Now we're hitting a monthly area of supply. This is exactly where I believe institutions will be taking profits on their long positions, okay? Taking profits, and we'll most likely see some shorts being added as well, because I do believe we're going to get some consolidation here and then a drop to the downside for more longs to be taken and a push even higher. So right now is not a good time to buy. Now is not a really good time to sell. I've got some short positions open because I'm just looking to make a quick scalp on the momentum to the downside with the profit taking that I'm expecting from the hedge funds, but it's not a high probability trade, and it shouldn't be. No shorts should be taken by any trader unless they specifically know what they're doing. All right. So it's extremely risky because it's against the trend, it's against the force of price, and it's against what the institution's main goal is. So, and the main goal is to take price higher. So right now, 69% of their overall exposure is to the long side, which means there's a lot of room to the upside. This can go to 70, 75, 80, 85, So you can see my point. Still a lot of room to the upside. Just some profit taking. I'll watch for momentum shifts, and then I'll get on board to the long side. Same thing with the pound. We're hitting a monthly area of supply, and 60% overall exposure to the long side. They increased longs from 84 to 99, and that comes as this candle was being created. Short positions also increasing from 58 to 66. Net positions rallies up from positive 26,000 to positive 33,000. So overall, you know, they're bullish. But we are hitting supply. We're expecting a sell-off with some profit taking on those long positions. But then I believe they're going to be getting in long again for a push even higher. So I'm waiting right now. I got some short positions on this as well, and waiting for that push to the downside. Once we get down to this area, if we get down to this area, it might not happen, I'll be waiting for signs of momentum to shift, and once that happens, I will be getting on board long. US dollar, Japanese yen, really nice move to the downside here, and we see that longs are increasing from 157 to 160. Remember, their long positions are aggressive, and their short positions are cooled off, right? 81% of their overall exposure is geared to the long side. So, you know, it's kind of crazy that that as, you know, price is consolidating here, they're adding long. You know, they have to be in a drawdown right now with these positions because, you know, they're so overly exposed. Yeah, we saw some profit taking from 185,000 to 160 during this here, but you know, they're not playing this as if their belief is that price is going to get down here. And at this point, it looks like that's very well going to happen. When the US dollar continues to drop, I believe that this is going to hit this area here, and then this is where longs are going to happen. Okay, so I believe they're in a drawdown. I could be wrong, but that's what I'm observing. They're still very committed to the long side, just like with the US dollar, Swiss franc, and how I believe the USCAD will eventually have a momentum shift to the upside as well. So not looking to take any trades here. I was in some short trades up here. I closed them down here, took some nice profits on it, and right now I don't have any open positions. I am looking to take a short position here. I posted the trade setup on my Instagram page, so you can check that out at forex_guy. And yeah, so looking to take a short position here and ride this wave with the US dollar to the downside. Alright, so let's go to the Kiwi. What do we see with the Kiwi? So Kiwi, they add in longs, becoming a little bit aggressive. Longs move up from 17,000 positions to 24,000 positions. Shorts roughly the same. And the net effect is that short exposure drops from 59 to 51%. Sentiment is neutral. Don't do anything, right? So we busted through this area here, and so we could get a drop before a move to the upside. That could definitely happen. We have this area here that could be great for some longs in the future. It may not happen. It all depends. It's in a weird location, so I'm not looking to take any trades, and this sentiment indicator is telling me stand by. Don't pull any triggers, just stand on the sideline. So that's what I'm doing. Alright, so that's pretty much it. I believe we have NFP coming out on Thursday or Friday. I can't remember. I believe it's Friday. And that's pretty much it. That's your report for this week. I hope you'll use it to make some good trading decisions. And until next time, have a good week.